Well, good morning, good evening, and hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us back here at Speed Gaming for the continuation of our Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Mentor and Mentee tournament. My name is Marion, and I'll be your host for today, and we've got a very interesting race to start off the evening. It's only about 1:30 Eastern, so we've got plenty of time left for a very cursed Reed seed. Yes, that's right, we have our fourth Reed Whaley seed continuous. Well, yesterday we had a required Amorbus and a required Quadraxis, so hopefully today we might see something a little bit different. You never know when it comes to Reed. But before we can do that, it's time to get into the actual race itself. In the blue corner we have M4RKERSM4SK, and in the red corner we have Elias Thompson. Two highly proficient runners, both extremely well versed in out of bounds, so we might see some out of bounds tomfoolery happening today. But before we can do that, we're just finishing a little bit of extra setup, making sure everything's ready on the race time side. So before we jump in, we might as well go over the rules for today. As with the previous 5 to 6 weeks, we are running Echoes Standard, meaning we are starting in the main energy controller at UMOS, and we have immediate access to Violet Translator. So this gets us some early information off of Violet Hint and in a main energy, and we get immediate access into Aegon Wastes. It's going to be an interesting time, to say the least. And yes, we do have a bit of a screen difference, but that's okay. Both screens and audios are confirmed usable, so we're going to see what happens later on. But M4RKERSM4SK and Elias are just finishing their final setup. Countdown will start momentarily. And until then, it's time to sit back, relax, grab yourself a bottle of water, remember to stay hydrated, and let's figure out what cursed logic Reed has blessed with us today. And it looks like the official race time countdown has started. This race is about to begin, folks. And of course, KRR is wondering for a required Airy today. Oh, well, KRR, it's entirely possible. Airy hasn't been required lately, so who knows? Today might be the day. Now, personally, I'm always a fan of Lower Torvus having something really required. We saw that yesterday with a gravity boost for Cobalt in order to fight Spider Guardian off the transit tunnel south. But let's go even lower in Torvus. Let's get a required Alpha Block fight. Although it's rare to have, we could have gravity boost be on Alpha Block. It hasn't happened before, at least lately. So, who knows? Anything's possible. And with that being said, the countdown has started. It's time to get this race rocking and rolling. KRR, let's not think back to that. We got to have it one more time. Once again, we are starting with a Violet Translator. This gets us immediate access into Aegon Wastes, along with Translator Hints. But first, we get to see that our first item of the day is a handy-dandy missile expansion. Well, that's fantastic. At least we can fire missiles now. Although not logically, as we don't have the launcher, but that's okay. With information that bombs are in Storage Cavern B. Well, thankfully we can get those right away. Now we'll dive into what the logic chain is for Randomizer a little bit later on when we have more time. But essentially, until we have the main item, in this case the missile launcher, the game is not expecting us to do missile-related checks, in this case, Storage Cavern B. So while we can get bombs, it's not logical, it's not next in the chain of progression for Randomania's thought process. But that's okay, we're not going to go with that thought process for bombs, because bombs gets us almost anywhere that we want in Aegon. But before we can go into Temple Grounds to get those bombs, we have to fight everybody's favorite splinter, Albert the Alpha Splinter. Just sitting here in Temple Sanctuary, hiding the energy transfer module from us. And that's a good point, Kara. Do we have any runners agreements today? We do not have any agreements. No agreements for today. I believe, yes, we are on the old patcher, which gives us immediate access into GFMC compound to get the crate item. So that would put a vanilla missile launcher on compound's crate. Or we could have Screw Attack hiding on Albert. That's an interesting play. And looks to be a Sonic Boom hiding on Transport B access. We're not going to use Sonic Boom right now. We don't have what we need for it. But it's good to know where it is, as Sonic Boom is a useful charge combo. Just not currently. But due to the fact we have Screw Attack, we might be seeing Space Jump come a lot sooner than expected. And we've got what looks to be a missile expansion on Temple Assembly site. Can't get a good view of it from here, but I'm sure Marker's Mask sees it. And here's Storage Cavern B for your bombs. Well, bombs will get us access into GFMC's compound area, so we might as well head that way now since we are on Old Patcher. This would be a good logic chain. We have bombs, so we can get communications area. We have the gate open in Trooper Security Station, so we have immediate access for compound's crate item. And due to bombs, we can also get the safe station off of Transport A access. 3 items, 3 possibilities, and the Reliquary information. Let's find out what item number 1 is hiding behind communications area. Well, we did mention Space Jump was coming soon due to Screw Attack, and it appears to be right here on communication. Well, that's not so nice. Reliquary contains a key. Thank you, Reed. We do not need another Sky Temple key on Reliquary today. But I'm betting that missiles have to be here on compound. If not on compound, it's on the transport to Aegon elevator. Although we do have Space Jump, but missiles technically lock Space Jump. So it's probably going to be one of the next 2 items. Oh, hold on. We've got a ball upgrading compound. Well, hello, Spider Ball. That's a very interesting location for you to be. And Marker's Mask just doing a casual duplication of Spider Ball. Sadly, we don't get anything by getting it twice. It's always good to duplicate. Interesting route. Elias has decided to forego going to compound. That's going to cost him due to the fact we're missing out on Space Jump. Oh, and we have a Cursed Lake with a Morph Ball upgrade. That very well could be our main power bombs, or it could be our boost ball. And yeah, oh, we did pick up Space Jump. Yes, we did. I'm smart. I know how to read a tracker. Oh, and we've got a missile system in Aegon. That's interesting. But what's more useful is having a light beam underneath the elevator. Yes, Rico, you did tell me. Yep, that's absolutely fair. With our current settings on beginner, we could use Screw Attack's extra height by doing a Screw Attack cancel to get up the left side of Mining Plaza. So we've got a handful of locations our missile launcher could be in today, but we're not really worried about it. Our runners know that it's going to be logical eventually, and we're not going to go out of our way and forego missile checks because of it. It's just not worth the hassle. But so far, we've got some interesting locations today. Spider ball, light beam, space jump, screw attack, morph ball bombs. We got a good amount for the early Aegon play. Thankfully, we can get into Jump Guardian, so that allows us even more progression. Missiles allow us to get into Aegon Temple, Aegon Energy Controller as well. We've got a lot we can do here in Aegon. And yes, there is a slight delay with the audio, but thankfully it's still usable. So, now that we're in Aegon, it's time to go fight everybody's favorite sandworm, the Bomb Guardian. Now, do we have any quick kill methods? Sadly, not really. We could pull off a 2-cycle, but without power bombs or dark beam, we're going to have to do this fight a little bit slow. Marker's Mask taking an interesting route, deciding to get Hive Chamber B without doing Bomb Guardian. Now, Hive Chamber B could be something useful, but if not, that's okay. We'll have to come back here anyway. Well, absolutely. This check was totally worth it before going to Aegon. We've got our Amber Translator hiding down here. Yeah, you definitely want Amber for your first pass on Aegon. This way you get Sand Cash out of the way, and all your Amber hints. It looks like Marker's Mask taking the extra dip here is absolutely worth it. Now Elias is having a bit of a trouble here with Bomb Guardian. We had to take an extra cycle, but that's okay. And oh, we just missed the kill. Now we've got to wait for another cycle. And what gets me is how Bomb Guardian managed to bypass our 3-bomb lock and can just fire as many bombs as they want. Sadly, we're not able to get that. We're not able to get that requirement once we defeat Bomb Guardian, as we get locked to using 3 bombs once we recollect them. But it's not very nice how Bomb Guardian manages to bypass the cooldown feature. But Bomb Guardian is defeated, and hello, we've got our first Sky Temple key today. Alright, so now let's go over and say hello to Isha. Does the Aegon Energy Controller have anything for us today? Well, it'll have an item, but is the item useful? Well, I would say it's useful. We have 15 missiles, just a handy missile expansion. And due to having Amber before entering Mining Plaza for the first time, we get this hint which tells us Dark Beam is in Vent Area A. So that's what that Spider Ball is for, and finding the Light Beam. This gets us our Dark Beam. Well, at least it gives us 2 different ways to get Dark Beam. We need Light Beam regardless from either side, either going through Sand Canyon off of Aegon Temple, or we needed to enter Vent Area A itself off of Main Reactor. Yes, KR, it is the elevator going to Sanctuary Spider. And just another missile expansion. Hiding here, maybe? Or do we have an actual item? Nope, it is a missile expansion. Never mind, that's our missile launcher. Well, at least we figured out where our missiles are. So now we see two different routes. Elias, after defeating Bomb Guardian, going to Aegon Energy, we're making our first play into Dark Aegon. Meanwhile, Marker's Mask putting their amber to good use by getting another hint, which tells us Amorbus has a missile expansion. Good to know for later. And Sand Cash having our boost ball, hopefully. Yep, there's our boost ball. Nice little trick here by Marker's Mask, using some standable collision to get the grapple beam early. By using Space Jump on top of the hive nests, we can use that nest for some extra height, and jump on top of the rock pillar behind us. Because that pillar has a flat surface, we can jump on it, and then use that to go jump right at the item. And Elias pulling off another trick here. We're going for Portal Terminal skip. Now, Portal Terminal has a puzzle to it. You usually need to destroy 3 sand blocks to align some sun lenses to power up the portal. Well, we're going to do part of that. For some reason, the game only checks a flag for if the last sand block has been destroyed. As the game thinks, well, you've destroyed sand block number 3, you must have destroyed blocks 1 and 2. Well, thankfully, we can abuse that flag and just destroy the 3rd sand block without needing to do the entire puzzle. It saves us a couple of seconds, but any time save is a good time save. And Marker's Mask is getting absolutely trolled by the Bomb Guardian. Look at that little sliver of health left. Oh, never mind, Bomb Guardian's been defeated. Alright, so now that we're in Dark Aegon, it looks like we're going to open up Transport Center. That gets us an extra item later on. We can peek Crossroad here, see if anything is useful off of the half pipe. Is anything good on Crossroad today? Looks like a missile expansion. And the Aegon Energy hint tells us that the emerald can be found here in Aegon. That's actually extremely useful to us. Well, and Elias has to be careful. We're running low on health currently. No E-tanks when going through Dark Aegon is a very tough time. And yes, as Rico's pointing out in chat, technically our light beam is not logical. In order for us to get light beam off of the Transport A save station, we need to have Emerald Translator in our possession. The game will never put a save warp into logic, not with these settings. But because we had to take a save warp to continue, our light beam is technically not able to be used, at least for the logic chain. But that's okay, we're going to keep using it anyway. And now that we have Dark Beam off Vent Area A, it's time to go fight Dark Samus. And we don't have any quick kill methods, but thankfully Dark Beam is our best option at the moment, as well as Screw Attack. If we get a well-timed Screw Attack, we can do massive damage, as we just saw here. Over half health gone. Meanwhile, Elias continuing through Dark Aegon, paying off pretty well with a super missile on Trial Tunnel today. This allows Elias to get into Battleground and get the Battleground's fight item. Yeah, the good thing is supers will help Elias tremendously when we reach Torvus Bog for the first time. That's just due to how much supers lock Torvus. Marker's Mask almost done with Dark Samus. Almost done with this fight. And speaking of fights, Elias is angrily shooting a statue. I guess Elias is not a fan of architecture. But no, we're doing this. We have a reason why we're shooting this statue. Every time we enter Judgment Pit for the first time, Jump Guardian's hitbox will always be spawned in front of that statue where the cutscene normally shows the boss coming from. Now, because that hitbox is still active, we can damage Jump Guardian's health bar down to 1 hit point. Thankfully, there's a safety flag in the game where you cannot kill Jump Guardian in this manner, as to protect against deleting the item. And real quick, Dark Oasis has a key. Congratulations, you might have a required Power Bomb Guardian. But back to Jump Guardian, we can lower its health to 1 hit point, start the fight by entering the safe zone in the center of the room, and because Jump Guardian only has 1 hit point, we can just fire a few taps of lemons, and Jump Guardian is defeated. Really great time save. That way we don't have to fight an annoying early game boss. And was it worth it? Absolutely. We got our first E-Tank of the run. Much better than last night, where the first E-Tank came over an hour in. We only came 17 minutes now. Now, the sad thing is, because Elias does not have Dark Beam, we're restricted from entering In-Cache 4. Now, In-Cache 4 could be a useful check. It might not, but we'll find out later. And the good thing is we've located Emerald, locked behind Boost Ball of all things. And thankfully Boost Ball being on Sand Cache. Oh, that means we had to have done Hive Chamber B first to get the Amber, in order to get the Boost Ball on Sand Cache, in order to then get the Emerald on Sand Processing, to then in turn technically go get the Transport A Light Beam. Thanks, game. You have a long backtrack, but we skipped half of that backtracking section. Nope, and Elias has realized what's here on Warrior's Walk, and it looks like we want to get it. Absolutely, because we've got another E-Tank. And whatever was on Battleground, Elias is not wanting to go get it. Well, that's good information for later. And how about we say hello to a Dark Suit? A Dark Suit on Bioenergy. That's great to have before entering Dark Aegon, as now we don't have to rely on dangerous Aether energy logic, as Dark Aether is extremely painful without having any upgrades. And speaking of Dark Aether, it looks like Elias has finished their Jump Guardian loop and is returning to Portal Terminal. Next plan of action? Well, we don't have Light Beam, we don't have Dark Beam, we don't have Amber Translator for anything. After we're done here, the best bet for Elias would be to go back and do some Temple Grounds cleanup. Speaking of cleanup, looks like Markers is having a fun time with translators, as we now have Cobalt locked here on Storage Bravo. Okay, so we know where all 4 translators are. Thank you, game, that's amazing to have. Although, that sort of scares us. All translators 20 minutes in. We have the entirety of Torvus and Sanctuary to go through. So what cursed locations are our major upgrades? Well, we've got a lot to pick from. So, we're not going to dive into Sanctuary quite yet. There's nothing we can do. We could theoretically dive into Torvus Bog. We have everything we need for it. Do we want to do that right now? It's a bit of a hit or miss. Now, because we have Boost Ball and Spider Ball, that does push us towards Torvus. We have a lot we can do there. And we are missing supers, but that's okay, as supers were in Trial Tunnel. So the best play for Marker's Mask is to continue through some Dark Aegon cleanup. Do your Jump Guardian loop, find your supers. Okay, now you have your super missiles. Great. Now you can start making some plays into Torvus Bog. And once you're in Torvus, you're really looking for your Seekers. And once Seeker missiles are found, you really want to make a check for your Sky Temple hints. And we do have confirmation that Battleground is just a missile expansion. It's not something we're going to go for. We're not doing this fight. As for Elias, we've just taken a save warp out of Aegon Waste. We're done with Aegon for the time being. Next up, we're going to go for the Hive Chamber loop with Hive Chamber A and B. This gets us 2 items, one of which is confirmed to be Amber. And once you have Amber, Elias is going to make a straight line back to Aegon. But not immediately, as we do want to get the Temple Grounds cleanup done first. We know we have GFMC Compound open to us. So we know we're going to get 2 items off of that. One on top of the ship, one in the crate. And then we use that to get Transport A access, take the save station, locate your light beam, and then use that to play into an Aegon Labs continuance. And once we get to Aegon Labs, we'll find Darksuit, and then be tempted to go into Torvus afterwards. And yes, we've got another E-Tank, but that's okay, as now it's time to fight the Dark Missile Trooper. Nope, and we are out of missiles, so we can't fire super missiles at this trooper. Just sitting here waiting for us to destroy it. Now, we couldn't fight this boss on first pass, as we needed Bomb Guardian to be defeated before the spawn flag hits. But DMT for a missile expansion, thank you game, that was extremely worth it. Absolutely not. But we are done in Dark Aegon Labs. Nothing promising out of Dark Aegon, sadly. So Marker's Mask is going to use this to path right into Jump Guardian's loop. And because we have Dark Beam, this also puts Incash 4 into logic. But before we do that, I'd say we take a quick peek over into Mineshaft, as we can get what Mineshaft's item is. You never know. One check could make the difference between being ahead or being completely lost for a half hour. So it'll be interesting to see what items we come across as we do the early Aegon section. Well, I did say it could put us ahead. That's a power bomb expansion, or just an Aether cheeseburger. Now, because of that power bomb, that opens up a whole lot of more checks that we can do. Not logically by any means, but if Marker's Mask was so inclined to go for, well, we could do Spider's Treasure. We could go back, do some Sanctuary plays, get 3 items, and then continue along. But speaking of getting items and out of logic, it looks like Marker's Mask is going for a trick that we call Seekerless Seeker Skips. Now, while Elias continues through Compound, we might as well explain what's happening here. What Marker's Mask is essentially attempting to do is open this Seeker door without the use of Seeker Launcher. Now, you might be wondering, well, how can we possibly open a door without the proper equipment? Well, Echoes is an interesting game sometimes. In order for the Seeker door to be opened, all 5 of these purple dots must be hit at relatively the same time. The game doesn't check to see if Seeker Launcher was used. All it's checking is to see if the 5 nodes were destroyed. Now, because of that, we can utilize Screw Attack to destroy 4 of them, use a missile on 1 of them, and because all 5 nodes are destroyed, that allows us access into the door. Unfortunately, this trick is extremely difficult. It requires a precise Screw Attack. Unfortunately, we did not get any luck with Marker's Mask. But that's okay. Props to him for at least attempting the trick. Back on Elias' side, we've just located Spider Ball on the crate, And we're about to see what's on top of the ship. Is the ship item worth it? Well, we've got a missile expansion, and we are pretty low on missiles, so I would say yes. We will always take more missiles. And Marker's Mask is having a difficult time trying to pull this trick off. And we got a fire missile, then do a perfect screw attack to destroy 4 nodes at the same time. Last missile, can we get it? Unfortunately not. Yep, and Elias has entered Transport A access. We're going to the safe station, and wouldn't you know it, we've located our light beam. That light beam will hopefully push Elias back into Aegon, saying, hey, wait a minute, Sand Canyon's open to us. We can go through Vent Area A to get that dark beam now, and then we go through labs as normal. But in the meantime, Marker's Mask decided to forego the Seekerless trick. Many props to him again for at least attempting it. It is a difficult one to try to pull off. But until then, let's go for the Jump Guardian loop. We've got a handful of items we can collect. We have the supers on Trial Tunnel. We have Jump Guardians so that we can get a missile expansion off of the ship. We can go into Warrior's Walk if we wanted to get another E-Tank. We can take a peek at Junction Site for that ammo expansion. And most importantly, we get information on what Incat 4 has. But before we can do anything, we've got to take out these Dark Pirates. That's what we've got that Power Bomb expansion for. Dark Pirates plus Power Bombs equals total annihilation. With Portal Terminal Synth telling us where Light Beam can be found. Well, thank you, game. That would have been useful earlier, except we already have Dark Beam. Or Light Beam. Well, we have both of them. And again, we're going for Portal Terminal Skip. If the third sand block is destroyed, this puzzle will be marked complete. So as we saw, we just used Screw Attack into the third sand block. It registered the flag that we needed, and this portal is now active. Meanwhile, Elias is entering Aegon Waste once again. This is a really good play, and pretty much the only play that we can do. We do not want to dive into Torvus without having Dark Beam. Dark Beam locks a good amount of Torvus for us, especially early. And let's see, we got the information for Crossroad once again. Hello, Missile Expansion. I'm sorry, but we're not going to collect you today. And Elias gets information where Dark Beam can be found. Wonderful. That tells him, hey, wait a minute, I have what I need for that. I can either A, go through labs properly, or B, I can do backwards labs to go through Sand Canyon. And Elias is trying to find what room Ventilation Area A is. You just had it. That's Vent B. There you go, Ventilation Area A. And looks like Incat 4 had a Dark Burst for us. Well, Dark Burst is useful for certain fights. Certain pirate fights are a lot faster because of it. But it's not going to be our major progression. Marker's Mask taking the time to shine light on the Lightbringer, making that Lightbringer oh so happy. You know, that's an automatic plus 10 points right there. We show love to the Lightbringers here at SpeedGaming. Lightbringers are our friends. And yes, Amorbus is confirmed to be defeated, Kirby. Amorbus only has a missile expansion, and Mining Plaza appears to have not a required item on it. But speaking of required, we've got supers here on Trial Tunnel once again. Supers will allow us to get into a majority of Torvus and make a shortcut into Warrior's Walk, while Elias gets information where Light Beam can be found. But before we do anything else, Marker's Mask is also going for Jump Guardian Skip. A Light Beam is the best weapon that we have to do this. With 30 Light Beam shots, and this Jump Guardian will be defeated. Meanwhile, Elias is going for Sand Canyon, and most likely entering Aegon Energy to get another Amber Hint. Now that Amber Hint will help Elias out by giving them information where Emerald is. You know, it'll only tell us the region of Aegon, but with Elias's current equipment, they can clean out a good majority of Aegon, and eventually stumble into it when doing sand processing. And here's that shortcut off of Warrior's Walk. This gets us into Dark Labs and Light Labs a lot easier without having to warp back into Portal Terminal. But first things first, we're going to take this free E-Tank hiding on Warrior's Walk. We will always take more energy, as you never know when a fight might get you the wrong way. But it looks like Marker's Mask is complete here in Aegon. We've already done a majority of labs. We've done all we can do outside of Spider's Treasure. Now, do we really want to dive into Spider's Treasure? I'm going to say no, just based on the fact we don't have main power bombs. So technically, all the power bomb checks that we do are not going to be next in the Randomania logic chain. So because of that, we don't want to focus on those power bomb checks. So if we pretend we don't have power bombs, our next best play is to enter Torvus Bog for the first time and start doing some Emerald cleanup. Emerald Translator gets us a handful of hints. We get access into Underground Tunnel, and supers allow us to get into Lower Torvus. So we got a lot we can do. And I mean a lot. Torvus is loaded. And Elias taking time to admire Dark Samus, just casually collecting all that Phazon. Wondering, well, I'm going to destroy you eventually, so enjoy it while it lasts. Just a missile expansion hiding on Storage Delta today. While Elias is realizing that they have a lot they can do in labs still. You got sand processing, bioenergy production, Storage Bravo, and Storage Delta. Which way do you head? Do you do labs backwards or forwards? Well, it looks like Elias has decided to take labs forward. But first, we're going to use those power bombs because we have them. We're not going to isolate checks just because they're illogical. We're going to get all the information and items we can. So let's go over and peek at Dynamo Chamber real quick. And yeah, we're totally going to keep that. We've got our light suit hiding behind power bombs. Okay, so now we know we need main power bombs, hopefully eventually, to get that light suit. And this allows us to get a safe point here and progress towards Plane of Dark Worship without taking major damage. Yeah, granted, Dark Suit would have allowed us to take minimal damage, but Light Suit allows us to take no damage. And it looks like this was absolutely worth it because somebody put a Dark Visor on Plane of Dark Worship. Okay, now we're really set for a Torvus Bog play. Now, if gravity boost is anywhere nearby, that'd be the game hand-holding us a little bit, telling us, hey, we're going to pull you this direction. You better follow it. Either that or Seekers. Seeker missiles would be the best thing to have right now, as that would allow us access for our Sky Temple key locations. But until that time, we're going to keep on going. We're going to get every check that we can, and then make our way into Torvus. But first, I do believe we're going to take a quick peek at Hall of Honor Dead. Now, we don't have Seekers to access Hall of Honor Dead properly, or at least leave it. But we can use the half pipe to enter Hall of Honor Dead properly, and then in turn use an instant morph trick to get out. But before that, say hello to the Dark Missile Trooper. And say goodbye to the Dark Missile Trooper. I'm sorry, was the mini-boss there? I never noticed. Elias, meanwhile, going through Aegon Labs. We've decided to go through Aegon Labs through the front door instead of the back door. It's not going to make too much of a difference. But we do get to come over here to Storage Bravo and find our Cobalt. That's 3 out of the 4. And we'll stumble into the 4th translator of Emerald once we do sand processing. But even better, we're going to find Dark Suit hiding here on Bioenergy Production. And because we have super missiles on first pass, this will allow us immediate access into Storage C. Now, Storage C, if it has anything useful, Marker's Mask is going to have to take a little bit of a backtrack to come back for it later. But we're going to find out. Right now, the biggest things that we could have are Seekers, main power bombs, at least for the logic chain, or we could have Echo hiding here, or Gravity Boost. We got a handful of majors that would give us good progression. It's just a thought of, does it have anything useful, and if so, what is it? Speaking of useful, we get information for Defiled Shrine, which has a beam-related upgrade. We know that check is dead. There are no beam-related upgrades left that are of any importance to us. It looks like Elias is setting up Bioenergy's platforms for some reason. Interesting choice. We have Screw Attack, so we could skip it, but that's okay. It's always good to play it safe. And there's the information for Sand Cache having our boost ball. Marker's Mask just finding that hint locked behind Amber and Light Beam, so that hint is effectively useless because it was locked on Amber. Now, I did mention both of these runners have knowledge on out-of-bounds movement. We might be seeing that here now with Marker's Mask, as Marker attempts to go for another Seekerless Seeker skip, in an attempt to get Sky Temple key hints early. Now, there's 2 methods we can do to skip this door. Method 1, we use the Screw Attack method and break open the door. And Method 2, we quite literally force our way out of bounds and go around the door. While Marker's Mask is attempting to scan the key, couldn't get a good angle on it. Alright, so which method is Marker's Mask going for? He's going for out of bounds. Alright, this is a safe play if he knows how to do it, which absolutely he does. Now, with out of bounds, it's a little bit tricky to explain. But essentially, every room in Echoes is contained inside of a box. When you move outside that box, we call that zone the Aether. Now, every time you leave and enter the Aether, you have a 3-frame window to input a jump, and a space jump. Now, we're using that to slowly climb the room, go around the box, load into the next box, and then clip back in bounds. Which Marker's Mask made that look extremely easy compared to what it actually is. But no time to think about that, as it's time to figure out where the remaining 8 keys are. Your locations today include Transit Tunnel East. So we need gravity boost for it, or we need a ridiculously out of bounds. Sentinel's Path, we need Annihilator and Echo. Hive entrance, congratulations. Sand Canyon, well, that's a freebie. We have Screw Attack Power Bombs. Hive Temple, hello! We've got a required Quadraxis today. Profane Path. Profane needs Annihilator and Echo. Ing Reliquary, we just confirmed what that key is. And Aerial Training Site. Well, Sanctuary Fortress is not too kind to us today. Once again, your keys are posted below. So, to quickly go over your keys once more, let's see, what do we need to get our keys? We need quite a lot. Surprisingly, there's only 1 key in Torvis, but that's in Lower Torvis, and that's in a really painful location. So, Aegon Temple. That's a freebie, we already got it. Dark Oasis has a key. We know that is a red key. And we know that we don't need it, as we can skip the key requirements. But Marker's Mass taking a slight detour to get to Defiled Shrine, and Defiled Shrine has nothing. So, let's go over this, shall we, chat? Aegon Temple, we already did. Transit Tunnel East hard requires gravity boost, or requires an underwater out of bounds. Out of bounds is difficult, but it depends on where gravity is. If gravity's in a really bad spot, we're going to see the out of bounds method. Sentinel's Path. Sentinel's Path requires us to have both Annihilator Beam and Echo. Hive Entrance. We need Dark Visor for that. Plus Light Suit and Screw Attack. Thankfully we have Dark Visor. We located that off of Pod W. Elias finding a Dark Aegon key. We do not need to fight a Morbus today. You can ignore it. And by the way, here's information for Quadraxis. Every boss has a guaranteed hint, translator hint. There's your Quadraxis one. Where were we? Sand Canyon, we need Screw Attack and Power Bombs for. We're still missing main Power Bombs, but that's okay. Hive Temple, we need to do the Quadraxis fight itself. We can't do Quadraxis skip, as the key is on the boss item, not the energy controller item. So we do need to fight Quadraxis regardless of whatever happens. Profane Path. Profane Path, we also need Annihilator and Echo. Ing Reliquary, we need Light Suit and Dark Visor. And Seekers. And Aerial Training Site is ATS. Which is Screw Attack. So in short, we still need to find Seekers, Echo, Gravity Boost, Annihilator Beam, Dark Visor, main Power Bombs. We need practically every single major that we don't have. Now, would you pick up that Power Bomb on Wind Chamber, on Grand Wind Chamber? Yes, it is possible that we would have gone for it if we do it fast enough and we don't get messed around with the Screw Attack. Now, is it possible for a boss key to have another boss key? Yes, Celrus, it is entirely possible for a temple boss to have another temple boss key on it. For example, you might have to do Quadraxis to get a Chica key. You might have to fight Chica to get an Amorbus key. and so on and so on. In short, yes, any boss can have a boss key, including its own boss key, only if it's not required. And another cheeseburger and Fortress Transport access. That makes us a double cheeseburger with extra bacon. Meanwhile, Elias is just about done here in Dark Aegon. And there's the information that Plane of Dark Worship has a major upgrade. That'll help Elias out if they ever get that hint before doing Pod W. But right now, the best option for Marker's Mask is make your way into Torvus, as Torvus has a lot of open checks to it, and we have a handful of majors that we're still missing. So because of that, let's go to Torvus. Maybe we'll do Transit Tunnels East out of bounds to get that key. But really, we're just searching for our majors at this point. And the good thing is, Lower Torvus has a Sanctuary elevator on it, and that elevator is extremely useful to us, as putting us on Vault side sets us up to do Cat West, and go through the entirety of Sanctuary Fortress despite Sank map, despite Sank entrance. As thankfully we're on the good side of Mini Gyro Chamber, and we won't be locked out behind it. First things first, Torvus Lagoon, followed by Poison. Uh-oh. Well, we found our gravity boost. Well, Marker's Mask just got a major hint. The ink cache on Poison Bog has our gravity boost on it. There is only one movement system in the game that we have not yet collected. So, good news is, yay, we know where gravity boost is. We can go get that. The bad news is, hey, wait a minute. That's locked on an underwater light suit dark visor check. That's a bad location. And speaking of bad, here's the first joke hint. Every game has 2 joke hints to it, and sadly, that's our first one. You're absolutely right. If we didn't have light suit, that location would be absolutely terrible, as we'd have to spend countless time looking for light suit just to come back for gravity. But that's also a good location having it here in Torvus. This way we don't have to do the out of bounds for Transit Tunnels East, and we can just go get the key as normal. So we're not doing any unnecessary movement. Speaking of unnecessary, let's get another E-Tank, shall we? Although E-Tanks aren't unnecessary, we will always take more energy. Meanwhile, on the other side of your screen, Elias is still continuing through Aegon Waste, doing some cleanup. We're 50 minutes in. We've yet to enter Torvus or do any sort of Sky Temple cleanup. So Elias is really pushing it here with the time. But the good news is getting this power bomb expansion on Mineshaft will open up a lot of power bomb checks for us. And Marker's Mask just pulled off a neat little trick here. By screw attacking into the little morph ball tunnel here in Torvus Plaza access, when the screw attack clips into the floor, that gives us a peek at what the item is. It's only an E-tank, but it's good. It's good knowledge to have. And speaking of good things to have, let's get our Sunburst. Now, is Sunburst useful? Yes, it is. Every charge combo has its unique purpose to it. And for Sunburst, there are certain Dark Aether bosses that take a lot of damage to it. Most notably Boost Guardian and Grapple Guardian. Meanwhile, Elias is going for Sand Canyon. That's pretty good routing, as this will stumble them into an additional Sky Temple key. While Marker's Mask makes their way to Torvus Energy to say hello to Avok. And it looks like we just have a missile expansion today, but maybe the information is good. The keys to Dark Torvus can be found in Aegon, Dark Aegon, and Dark Torvus. Thank you, game. We better hope Chick is not required. As well, we're still missing all of those. Let's hope that we don't need to fight the boss. And I believe Elias is just about ready to get out of Aegon itself. Now, because we have that Power Bomb expansion, it looks like Elias is most likely heading for Spider's Treasure. Now, we do have Spider Ball. We are missing Boost Ball, though, so that could be a little painful. But we do get the information for Spider's Treasure, so it's not a bad idea to go for Sanctuary right now, knowing what Elias knows. It's just that because we don't have main Power Bombs or Boost Ball in hand, it's going to be interesting for the logic chain. And that is the best joke hint ever. May the light of Aether shine upon you. Yes, game, we will most definitely allow the light of Aether to show us the way. So, Torvus Grove. Does Torvus have anything useful in this section? An E-tank. I would say that's pretty useful, wouldn't you? Can always use more energy. Elias has just entered Sanctuary Fortress for the first time. We're going for Spider's Treasure, and most likely, even though we don't have Echo, we're probably going to dive deeper into Sanctuary. Although, speaking of required items, we do need Annihilator Beam, and we just found it on Med Vista, with Hall of Combat Mastery telling us that the gravity boost is in Dark Torvus. Okay, that gives Elias information that is extremely useful. We need gravity boost, although Elias does not yet know it. Yes, I do agree. Elias is in a pretty rough spot, chat. Because we're going for Sanctuary instead of Temple Grounds or Torvus Bog, we're isolating a good portion. Now, Sanctuary does have some use to it. There are a handful of items we can check. But the downside is Sanctuary doesn't have any good elevators from this side. There's one elevator which goes to Lower Torvus, and that's great. Yeah, Lower Torvus has what we need for Transit Tunnel South. The downside is we don't have Boost Ball to do Statue Skip. And now we could do the Screw Attack method, which is a lot harder. But then again, we're doing Lower Torvus, and we'd be locked from entering Upper Torvus. And speaking of getting locked, here goes Boost Guardian with a Power Bomb. This fight is over. For anyone who struggled with Boost Guardian as a child or a young one, or still does, remember to bring Power Bombs with you. Yep, and Elias getting bullied by the quad. But that's okay, we're just going to leave. Thankfully, we're not diving deeper into Sanctuary. That's a good play. But for Elias' current equipment, yeah, we're still missing Seekers for a logical Sky Temple Gateway play to get our key hints. If Elias wants to, they could out of bounds it. But other than that, we've done pretty much all we can in Aegon. I'd say your best bet, take a save warp or go to the main entrance of Aegon. Go back to Temple Grounds, do a little bit of cleanup, stumble into Plane of Dark Worship, and eventually make some Torvus Bog plays. You have Seekers. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We don't have Emerald yet. Elias never went to sand processing. Okay, no, we're gonna stay in Aegon for a little bit longer. We got the information that Aegon has our Emerald on it, so it makes sense. Stay in Aegon until you find it, as that Emerald will give you immediate access into Torvus. Although we could enter Torvus now, it's better to have Emerald just for the information. Meanwhile, Marker's Mask has acquired their gravity boost off of Poison Bog. We're heading right for Cache B to see if that has anything useful for us, and an ammo recharge station to get some more ammunition. Oh, hold on a minute. We've got something else happening. New development. Marker's Mask is actually attempting to go out of bounds for Cache B Chasm. Well, that'd be interesting. That'll push Marker's Mask right into lower Dark Torvus without the need of having to returning to the light world. Alrighty, so because of Cache B Chasm, this is a very interesting trick to say the least. Now, what is Cache B Chasm? Well, essentially what we're trying to do a warp from Upper Dark Torvus into Lower Dark Torvus. By going out of bounds in Cache B, we can fall all the way down and hit the loading trigger for the Aether box of Lower Dark Torvus. Now, because we can open that loading zone and get that box loaded in around us, all we can do is clip back in bounds, and we've successfully dropped all the way from Upper to Lower Torvus. Now, this is a major time save, as we don't have to go back to Light Torvus and go take the elevator to reach Lower. And by going to Lower Torvus this way, we're going to enter Grapple Guardian, and we'll also be doing some cleanup here to get more STKs. Are we going to fight Grapple Guardian? No, we're just going to leave Grapple Guardian alone, it seems. And a great point by Tyrannosaur. We are leaving the Lightbringer alive once again, as Elias continues into Dark Aegon for some reason. Though granted, we are still searching for practically anything at this point. But we're really looking for Emerald. But this is a good way to fast track into Aegon Labs and get set up on the far side of Labs. This thankfully puts us right at sand processing, a location we've yet to do. Hopefully Elias realizes that and does it. But speaking of information, it looks like Dungeon has a key of all things. Thankfully, that's not a Sky Temple key, but it very well could be a useful red key for us. Oh, and thankfully Elias has done sand processing. We have our emerald. We have everything we need to enter Torvus Bog. Granted, we are still missing Seekers, but that's okay, because we have absolutely no idea where Seekers are. So take a much-needed save, take a save warp, Elias, and make some plays into Torvus Bog, my friend. Either that, or get some cleanup done in Temple Grounds and Sky Temple. You have your Dark Suit. You have power bombs to get your light suit off of Dynamo. You've got a good amount open to you. And speaking of open, let's open up this Emerald Hint on Catacombs. Oh no! Why did it have to be that? Okay, game, you win. You win, Reed. For anyone who might not be aware of what's happened, essentially, Marcus Bask just got the information for Cheka. And for some reason, Cheka has our Echo Visor. We need Echo Visor to get our Sky Temple keys. Well, we absolutely do need required Cheka to fight Quad, then. Oh, this is a very terrible seed. At this time, I do want to point out for everyone listening at home, today's race generator and host is none other than our one and only Reed Whaley. You can find him here in chat today. There he is, hiding right off of that tag. Now, Reed, thank you so much for hosting once again. It's always a pleasure. But I do want you to know that your Sky Temple key locations are absolutely terrible. Please take note of the following message. And also, please note, in order to get Profane Path and Sentinel's Path without doing out of bounds work, we need Echo. And where would you say Echo Visor is? Well, for some reason, somebody put an Echo Visor on Cheka. So it's either A, we do Quadraxis without Echo, which by all accounts is not terrible. Number 2, we do Sentinel's Path and Profane Path out of bounds, which Profane Path alone is a terribly awful out of bounds to pull off. Or 3, which is probably going to be the correct answer, you have to find all your Dark Torvus keys, fight Cheka, then do your STK hunt. Don't you love Echoes sometimes, folks? It's a great experience, isn't it? And what better way to start off a Sunday bracket race tournament than by having 2 required temple bosses and a bunch of headaches? And, oh, that's a fair point. Thank you, Number, for pointing that out in chat. We don't know where Seeker Launcher is. And Seekers are one of the fastest ways to kill Cheka, outside of Cannonball, which we can't get without out of bounds, as Cannonball's done in this preset. So either we need to, oh man. And Elias is getting information that Quadraxis has a Sky Temple key. They're not too happy about it. No, KRR Seekers are not required by any means for Cheka. It's just that Seekers makes everything so much easier. It cuts out at least 4 additional phases of Cheka adults. Now, if Cannonball is shuffled, I need to get a confirmation on it. I need to check the settings. If Cannonball is shuffled, we can hopefully find Cannonball and have no issues with Cheka. If Cannonball is missing, we're going to have a really difficult time. But enough about that. Let's go back to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, thank you, Reed, for confirming it. Cannonball can be found. That's extremely good. So while Marker's Mask fights the Powerbomb Guardian to get another item check, now's a good time to explain what Cannonball is. I see we have a question in chat about it. So Cannonball is not an item as it is more a state. Anytime you enter a kinetic orb cannon, the game gives you the item Cannonball. And it gives you that item until you reach the end plate of the orb cannon's trajectory path. Once you hit that plate, Cannonball gets removed from your inventory. Now, because of this preset, we actually shuffled in the Cannonball item, and it does three useful things for us. Number one, when you're in Morph Ball mode, you take 0 damage. You're practically invulnerable from all damage sources. Number two, a Cannonball also gives us a Boost Ball feature. So if we're missing Boost Ball, thankfully we're not, we can get Cannonball instead and use Boost Ball that way. It does have some weird camera glitches with it, but you can still do it. And number three, the best one of all, Cannonball does 500,000 hit points of damage per successful frame against enemies that are vulnerable against it. And why is that important? Well, Cannonball thankfully can damage Cheka adults. There's a flag on Cheka. By the way, there's Hi game, this is officially a terrible seed. You need Cannonball on Powerbomb Guardian. Can we please stop cursing these games? We had it happen all night yesterday, and now it's happening again. Thank you, Draco, for pointing Cannonball out. You're of much assistance today. You're the chat viewer of the day. Thank you, Tyrannosaur, for pointing that out. In short, Cannonball basically makes things die instantly if they're damaged by it. Cheka adult will instantly die if Cannonball is hit. And that's pretty good for Marker's Mask, as he's just found Cannonball. Where was Annihilator? Annihilator was on Meditation Vista, Luna. Med Vista had our Annihilator, locked behind Emerald and Screw Attack. Okay. Well, this has been a very interesting time today. And yes, thank you for pointing that out, Sand. We don't have main power bombs yet, so anything power bomb locked, i.e. Powerbomb Guardian, well, you don't really need power bombs for it, but still. Now, does the morph elevator cannon thing? Okay, that's an interesting one. Yes, it will remove it. Any kinetic orb cannon that you enter will remove cannonball. So Marker's Mask has to be careful not to enter any orb cannons, period, until he's done with cannonball. Otherwise, the only way to get it is by doing an out of bounds glitch. Well, we're going to have a very fun time today. Also, I do really want to quickly point out that we have the race time room open, and it appears Marker's Mask is not happy, as we've just seen Reed's name be yelled in the race time room. I don't blame you, Marker's Mask. Reed has created one interesting game for you today. Well, it looks like Elias has entered Torvis Temple for the first time. Because we have supers, we have the ability to access that Torvis energy controller, which in turn will open up lower Torvis for us. Now that's good news. The bad news is we have a Sky Temple key on Transit Tunnel South. Now Elias does not currently know that, but it's going to be a little painful trying to route it back in, as we still don't have Light Suit, and Light Suit is all the way back at Temple Grounds on Dynamo Chamber. And Light Suit is used to get the gravity boost off of Poison Bog, so it will be a very terrible reroute for Elias later on. And Marker's Mask, unfortunately, does not have any power bombs to get this Sand Canyon key, so we have to go back and find some. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm just now realizing something. So our Torvis keys are Aegon, Dark Aegon, and Torvis. We know where the Dark Torvis key is. That's in Dungeon. We don't know where the Dark Aegon key is. But we have information, and basically the only thing left for us to do outside of in cache 2 is either A, in cache 2, Luck Behind Annihilator, 2, it's on Feeding Pit, or 3, the worst one of all, it's on Dark Oasis. And unfortunately, Dark Oasis requires us to defeat Power Bomb Guardian first. So if Dark Oasis is the actual key and not some other red key, then that means we would have to go into Torvis, fight Power Bomb Guardian, go all the way to Aegon, get the key on Dark Oasis, then go all the way back to Torvis. Well, and at least we had to check storage C with Marker's Mask. We isolated this check for the longest time due to not having supers upon first pass, but thankfully it's just a missile expansion, so it's nothing of any importance to us. But at this point, we're just over an hour in, and we're really trying to find the remainder of our majors so that we can route our remaining STKs in efficiently. Now, the good thing is Marker's Mask has defeated Powerbomb Guardian, so we do have the ability to check Dark Oasis. And we could get confirmation that Dark Oasis does indeed have the key that we've been looking for. And chat, you make a very good point. We still don't know where the Aegon Torvus key is. And the only places left in Aegon are locked behind Seeker missile checks. So it's either we go out of bounds, or we find Seeker missiles in order to get Chica done, in order to get everything else done. We are basically playing a modified 100% of today's game. And Marker's Mask once again does not have power bombs to open the store. But that's okay because there's an ammo recharge station literally one room away. So now we get confirmation. What key is Dark Oasis? Please do not be Torvus. Okay, game. That's pretty painful. Well, that just confirms our worst nightmare. So that means 2 out of the 3 keys to fight Chica. In order to get our Echo Visor, in order to get some Sky Temple keys, is we have to defeat Powerbomb Guardian to get Dark Oasis, and we also have to do Dungeon. Although Dungeon, compared to everything else, is basically Child's Play, but the point still stands. This is one of the worst seeds ever in the entirety of today. Mainly because this is the first one for today, but this is a really bad read seed. Meanwhile, Elias is entering Torvus Plaza for the first time. We're trying to see what this item is. Now, there is a way to skip this item, but Elias is getting bullied by that Sporb. And it looks like Elias has realized that Torvus Plaza is not an item worth going for, so we are not going to continue this fight. As for Marker's Mask, because of the lack of Seeker missiles, we cannot enter Mining Station B or Storage A. So we have to do Seekerless Seeker Skip, or we need to pull off a very weird out of bounds. Although I'm not sure if Mineshaft has a reliable out of bounds to it. Although this really does beg the question, where in the entirety of Aether is our Seeker missiles? And at this point, it's really starting to look like Sanctuary has the answer. Although you'd have to enter Sanctuary through Aegon or Torvis, because you can't... Oh, wait a minute. Seekers could be on Sank entrance. All right. So while Marker's Mask continues to break into the Seeker door, let's go over back with Elias and find out how they're doing on Boost Guardian. Can we get the quick kill? No, Boost Guardian's moving away from it. And, oh, so close. Just a little bit off. Oh, and where are main power bombs? Absolutely no idea, Kirby. Main power bombs are still a mystery to us. Now, thankfully, we do have Light Beam to make Boost Guardian a little bit easier. And this fight is now over. Marker's Mask, unfortunately, is going through 40-plus missiles and is still unable to break into this door. This just goes to show it's an extremely difficult trick to get this screw attack right. Oh, hey, wait a minute, he's got it! With the last missile in his inventory, Marker's Mask manages to break open the Mining Station B door. Great job. The last missile was the right missile. And was it worth it? Yes, it was, because there's the Torvis key that we're missing. We need Seekers to get the Chica key, logically. And there's information for Dark Suit on bioenergy. Okay, well, that's good news for Marker's Mask, because now they're able to get Chica to get their Echo Visor, and in turn get practically every other STK that they're missing. Marker's Mask is basically in go mode, outside of the fact that we still have absolutely no idea where Seeker missiles are. And KRAR, if you suggest Seekers on area again, I am going to force you to play this seed. Although I have absolutely no way of enforcing that, so either way. No, it probably wouldn't be a punishment, as KRAR enjoys this sort of thing. But moving on. Elias continuing through Dark Torvis. And we're locating a light ammo on Cache B. We are still missing Seekers. No information as of yet. No hints have told us anything to point us in the right direction. I mean, there's endless possibilities of where Seekers could be at this point. But I'd say for Marker's Mask, you don't need Seekers to do Chica. You probably still have Cannonball. You might as well go do Chica now before anything else. That way you get your Echo. As Echo will route in every other STK that we need. Transit Tunnel East, Sentinel's Path, Hive Entrance, Hive Temple, Profane Path, Ing Reliquary, and ATS. Alrighty. Well, as the prophecy foretold, we are going back into Torvus, while Elias enters Lower Torvus. Now, again, here's the downside. Elias does not have gravity boost to get Transit Tunnel south, or make any Lower Torvus movement easier. Now, we know that the gravity boost is on Poison Bog. Does Elias know that information? Well, possibly. It's entirely possible. But again, the downside is Elias does not have light suit information. There's nothing pushing him towards Dynamo Chamber for a progressive suit. We don't have that hint. And because we don't have gravity, we're most likely going to be seeing some air underwater plays. Yes, we are. So, air underwater. Meanwhile, Marker's Mask is going out of bounds to get this E-Tank. Or just using it to get into Dark Torvus faster. That's a nice little shortcut to Chica. But alas, with the trick knowledge, Elias going for air underwater. Now, air underwater is a bit of a weird one. What we're attempting to do is morph the exact frame that we enter a body of water. Now, if we morph at the correct frame transition, the game sort of gets tricked into believing we're still on land while in a body of water. The game doesn't know how to accurately position us. As you see, we have a clear HUD in the water. Now, because the game is tricked into believing we're still technically on land, we have the ability to input space jump and, in turn, screw attack while we're in the water, although we just fell. But this is great for moving underwater without the need of gravity boost. This makes a handful of areas easier. Can we do reverse Cache B Chasm? Possibly, but there'd be absolutely no reason why you would want to do it, K-Rar. I cannot think of a single reason why you'd want to do reverse chasm. But say hello to Cheka, everybody's favorite aquatic boss fight in Echoes. A terrible boss with 2 stages to it. But thankfully, we're going to do a bit of a quick kill method on the second phase. First things first, we're going to use super missiles and light beam to destroy the Chica larva. Thankfully, light beam's ability to act as a scatter shot allows it to hit multiple times, giving us just the extra damage we need for Chica larva while it's in the water. And now we're going to sidestep Chica, that way it can't see us and attack, and do input a ton of damage. And that sound you heard was Barker's Mask furiously tapping the A button and trying to get Annihilator shots off as fast as possible. And thankfully, Elias has gone back to get their light suit on Dynamo. That'll set them up for gravity boost and in turn lower Torvus. And remember how I said Cannonball had a secret use to it? Well, Cannonball plus Chica Adult equals instant termination of life. This entire fight is over. It goes from full health to no health in an instant. All right. And little fun fact, you do not ever need to return the Torvus energy for any purpose, period. There is no flag, no item location, or anything locked behind the Torvus energy being returned outside of a cutscene to go visit Umos for the third time. And to start to quell the comment in chat about Seekers, no, Kara, I'm sorry, Seekers cannot logically be on Airy in the settings. Due to the fact Chica Key is in storage A, as Rico stated, you need Echo to defeat Airy. With Echo being on Chica, you need all 3 keys before logically doing the boss. And because of that fact, Seekers are just gone from Airy. But it's time we continue on. We've done a majority of Torvus for Marker's Mask. We have the Echo that we've been missing all game. And thanks to the fact that we have our handy-dandy Annihilator Beam, courtesy of Meditation Vista, we've got access to practically every other STK remaining. Now, the Marker's Mask is going to run into a small problem. Seekers are pretty much required for being Reliquary. So unless we want to do another Out of Bounds, we're going to need to do Seekerless. Or, actually stumble across the Seeker launcher. But Transit Tunnel East, we can get Sentinel's Path, Hive Entrance, Sand Canyon, Hive Temple. Everything is open to us now because of that Echo. So what Marker's Mask is most likely going to do is route in the remainder of their STKs and then go for game end without really getting Seekers. As for Elias, even though they did just locate Light Suit, and thankfully in turn about to locate Dark Visor, they're going to have to start making some plays towards Torvus, and they really need to get some cleanup done. As we need to fight Chica for Echo to get a majority of our STKs. But it could also be that Elias goes towards Sanctuary, although we could do Sank Entrance. Sank Entrance is open to us, yes. But then again, do you dive deeper into Sanctuary through a different elevator and start doing checks there? It's possible due to the fact we have little to no information. But the good news is we don't need any more red keys. Yes, we do need to destroy Quadraxis, but at minimum, there's like 3 to 4 different ways we can completely skip the key requirement. And we have access to do all of them. The easiest manner, which we're most likely going to see after doing ATS, the Annihilator door for the second entrance into Hive Temple. Because we have Annihilator, that door is open to us. Developers never put a lock on that door as they never thought you'd have Annihilator before entering the fight. Which, why would you? Annihilator's after you defeat the boss. So because that door is open, we can just walk right into the temple fight and have no issues with trying to find the keys. Yep, and as stated, here's the Annihilator door. We have what we need to go through this passage. Oh. So now it's time for everybody's favorite, the Quadraxis battle. Meanwhile, Elias is taking the recommendation of Sank Entrance, trying to play off of the checks they know they can do in an attempt to find Seekers. So, Quadraxis Phase 1. We're going to destroy the kneecaps by using Charged Light Beam. Once the kneecaps are all destroyed, we will move on to Phase 2. Quadraxis is quite literally taking an arrow to the knee. Or in this case, a beam of light into the metal. Well, I mean, when metal is heated up, it does burn and become weak. So it makes sense. And yes, we're being a little bit quiet here during the fight. There's not much to talk about when it comes to the Quadraxis fight. It's all fairly straightforward. Phase 1, we're waiting for the kneecap to turn blue. That way we can damage it. And this boss does have some pretty good battle music to it. Alrighty, Phase 2. This is why we really wanted the Echo Visor, so that we could lock onto these Echo points and make the fight a whole lot easier. That and the remaining STKs, but currently it's for the boss. Now, does Sank Entrance have Seekers? No, they don't. Well, that's great. We do get a Sank Entrance hint, which tells us the main power bombs are exactly a few rooms away from Ingcash Key 2. Ingcash Key, no, Inghive Key 2. Although that begs the question, where was Inghive Key 2 at? Alright, now Phase 3. We're just going to use a spider ball on the broken legs, jump onto the head module, and blow it up. One more hit will end this boss fight. Well, we have a red... Well, that thing hive key number 1, so Elias has all 3, has the first. And there's that STK off Quadraxis. That makes 5 out of the 9. Meanwhile, Elias does not have anything to progress into Sanctuary. We need Dark Visor Seekers to actually get through this portion of Sanctuary into the reactor. And due to lack of Seekers, we physically cannot open the door. Looks like we're going to take a bit of a shortcut here to towards Sanctuary Vault. This will get us an item location and allow us to progress further towards Watch Station. Also, a fun little fact while we're here in Sentinel's Path. This all Echo locks in New Patcher. If you scan the Echo door, it will tell you the exact combination. Because we are on Old Patcher, the combination has to be either A, memorized, or B, you have to listen for the combination. As with all the other Echo locks. You shoot the door with Annihilator, it tells you the pitch sequence, and you match the sequence. And as Marker's Mask continues along through Sanctuary Fortress, Elias has re-entered Torvus Bog. Well, most likely with this Torvus play, we're going to go into Gravity Boost off of Poison Bog. We can also use Torvus as a play for Lower Torvus, despite having no Seekers. But once we do get Gravity, this opens up Lower Torvus tremendously for a Powerbomb Guardian fight, which in turn allows us access for Dark Oasis key, and that gets us Checka for Echo. So while Elias does have a lot of work to do, it's fairly a straight line. But next up on the STK cleanup for Marker's Mask, Hive Entrance. But we do get the information for Culling Chamber once again, that it just has some ammo. All right, so let's stop falling and let's go get hive entrance. Now, fun fact, there is a way to do hive entrance without light suit. It's just extremely difficult, as there is a multi-room out of bounds we can perform and climb up some standable terrain and use that to bypass the light transport requirement. Except it is never tournament viable, so we will most likely never see it done with these settings. Yes, KR, there is an out of bounds and a standable terrain trick you can do to bypass the light transport beam. And looks like Marker's Mask is down to the final 2 keys, while Elias, after grabbing the gravity on Poison Bog, is finally making a play for Lower Torvus. This will set them up dramatically for Power Bomb Guardian, Transit Tunnel South, and the remainder of the chain to go fight Chica. In the meantime, Marker's Mask is probably going to go for their last 2 keys, which are, let's find out, we still have Profane Path and Ing Reliquary. Thankfully, both of these keys are relatively close to each other. They're only a couple of rooms apart. So, it's not terrible that we left them behind for last. But we do get to peek what Alpha Blog has today. Sadly, Alpha Blog doesn't have anything useful. And is Elias going to skip, going for Power Bomb Guardian? That wouldn't be a smart play. There we go. Take the spider track, go fight Power Bomb Guardian. Use that for Grapple Guardian, and get some more locations checked. All right, and we've just accomplished Profane Pass. We have that key. We're down to the last one. And the last hurdle of today's race for Marker's Mask, another Seeker Door. Now, this one is a little bit easier compared to the other one. Not by much, though. It is. You got that weird stick of geometry on the top right of the door to work with. But once Marker's Mask gets through this door, that's it. That's game over. Meanwhile, Elias fighting Powerbomb Guardian. Smart idea. Always get the checks that you know you can do. You never know which one's going to have the winner. What is Marker's Mask doing? Taking a quick pause here. Either Marker's Mask has just gone AFK, or they are searching up a video on how to do this trick. Oh, this trick is not a fun one, especially with that extended piece of geometry for one of the nodes. That's going to put a damper into your screw attack line. Yes, Reed, we still have no knowledge on Seekers. We've gone through 90% of this entire game, and Seekers are still who knows where. Yep, Marcus Mask has come back. It looks like they've seen what they need to do. Now, Reed, you have 40 missiles to work with. Will you be able to get it? Yep, we've got another emerald hint here off of a Gathering Hall, which tells us 2 Most has a power bomb expansion. Well, that's good information to have. Smart play by Elias, opening up the portal here to go from light to dark Torvus. Does Cannonball work with Seeker locks? No, they do not. Cannonball does not destroy Seeker locks. Only missiles, Seeker launcher, or screw attack. So what Marker's Mask is attempting to do is blow the 2 nodes on the left, while attempting to screw attack into the 3 nodes on the right. They need to be done in rapid succession so that all 5 are marked destroyed at relatively the same time. Oh, and he had it. He almost had it, but he was too slow. Having trouble with that screw attack. Lasting information for a Keon dungeon. Marker's Mask, unfortunately, down to 6 missiles. We have 3 more attempts. 2 more attempts. Elias getting information that Chica has an Echo Visor. Final attempt for Marker's Mask. Unfortunately, no dice. Yep, now Marker's Mask is attempting to get a missile drop off of these Metroids. And unfortunately, no luck for Marker's Mask. Oh, but hey, there's a missile drop. All right, Marcus Mask has 5 more attempts that he can do. We're down to 4. 3. 2. Nope, 1 more attempt. Nope, that's it. Another set, unfortunately. Maybe we'll get a missile drop off on this Metroid. Well, we got 5, so we get 2 attempts at it. We get 1 more attempt. Nope, no dice. And that is every possible drop we can get in that room. Now we gotta backtrack. Well, we got 15 missiles, 7 attempts. Can we pull it off? Here we go. Attempt number 1. No. Attempt number 2. Nope. Attempt number 3. Almost. Here we go. We got 5 more attempts left. Close, but not quite. All right, again. And we're just going to stay silent real quick. We're going to try to give Marcus Mask some focus time while Elias fights the Grapple Guardian. Marcus Mask has 20 missiles, 10 attempts. Can we pull it off? I have faith. And I bet all of chat has faith in Marcus Mask right now. We're going to send him our positive energy, and we are going to get this door open. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, this door is not being kind to us, but Elias has just defeated Grapple Guardian, a boss we have not seen yet. We've been in Grapple Guardian's chambers, but we just skipped the boss fight. And it was just for a Dark Ammo expansion. That would have been hilarious if it was at the actual the Seeker launcher that we've been missing. Thankfully, it wasn't. But sadly, for Elias, we are still searching. Still hunting for that elusive Seeker missile. And Marker's Mask just needs to do this one trick. Maybe because we collected the energy transfer module, we are now validated. Maybe this is the attempt we've been missing. We have the validation on our side. Can we put it to use to open this door? Okay, so this door is proving to be a lot harder than we anticipated. It appears this door is made out of some super light, undense material that just does not want to get destroyed. And again, we are doing this only because we have no information on Seekers. And this is the last key that Marker's Mask needs to go beat their game. We don't need Seekers for the final boss. Who would have thought that the true final boss of Echoes would be a big purple door? Nope, and it looks like Marker's Mask has decided to give up on this journey. And yes, Rico, you're absolutely correct. Seekers are anywhere that cannot be echo locked, as Seekers are required to get one of the echo keys. We have not seen Feeding Pit. No, Feeding Pit is still an open check. All right, so in the meantime, it looks like Marker's Mask has decided to just go through every region checking every possible item location that's remaining in attempts to hopefully come across Seekers. Now, this is a good idea, but it's time-consuming. But at this point, we're desperate. Seekers lock the only door that we need to get the final key. So, there's a handful of checks still remaining in this game. We have Feeding Pit and Dark Labs. We have a good amount of Sanctuary left, such as Elias. It's a wonder of where is it that we've yet to check that could have the answer that we need. And once we find it, we're good to go. That's it. And meanwhile, for Elias, we are in Aegon for some reason, entering Aegon Labs. Nope, it looks like Elias is also heading for Feeding Pit, doing some cleanup and searching. As Elias really needs to find those Tricka keys to go get their Echo Visor. Well, Marker's Mask is en route to Sanctuary. Alright, so he knows that most of his checks are left in Sanctuary Fortress. Will this location have the answer to all his problems? Oh, do we have a reason to believe Seekers are before or after power bombs? Well, power bombs do lock a good amount. We still have yet to find the mains. But do we need power? Well, we need power bombs in order to get one of the Torvus keys. So I would say we need power bombs first, with Seekers following after. Oh, and we have a missile-related upgrade on Hive Dynamo. So yes, Tyrannosaur, we definitely need power bombs before Seekers, based on the location of one of the Torvus keys in Dark Oasis. And we got a missile-related upgrade hiding on Hive Dynamo Works behind Spider Guardian. Main Gyro Chamber is telling us where Echo Visor is exactly. Thank you, game. That's not what we need. And technically, you're correct, Tyrannosaur. We need Seekers and/or power bombs for any elevator to access Sanctuary. Okay, well, we haven't said hello to our good buddy Elias today. Maybe Elias has been hiding a major piece of information for us. Well, it's not on the item. And the keys to Dark Aegon Temple are places we really don't care about. And Feeding Pit has a missile expansion, so it's not there. So now we're really scratching our heads as to where could Seekers be. Maybe it's on Hive Dynamo Works. Maybe it's on Spider Guardian. Maybe it's just Vanilla hiding on Hall of Honor Dead. Right now, Marker's Mask is just going for every possible translator hint in an attempt to gain some sort of information. And, well, all the keys to Hive Temple are in Sanctuary. That's great. Okay, what about Sanctuary Vaults? Does the Vault have everything? No, Vault doesn't have it either. And you're absolutely right, chat. We had a hint earlier telling us that main power bombs are exactly X rooms away from Hive Key 2. We know for a fact that this is in Sanctuary. We know that they're in Sanctuary. Okay, so that's good. We know where main power bombs are. Here's the downside. That means we need Seekers to have entered into Sanctuary. Okay, well, there's main power bombs finally on Cat West. But that gives us reconfirmation that we need Seekers to enter Sanctuary. So they can't be in Sanctuary at all. So Seekers have to either be in Torvus, Dark Torvus, or Temple Grounds. And if Seekers, for any reason, are vanilla, well, that's going to be a fun time because we've passed by that room so many times. And by so many, I think I mean 2. Oh, no, Rico, I don't believe we've seen it. We have not seen the information for the in-cache on Battleground. Well, Gathering Hall's open to us. I don't think we went in that room once for the hints, but I don't think we got a good check at the item. Nope, that's just an E-Tank. Elias does not currently have Sky Temple key hints. No chaos. There are no key information for Elias. He's just going through the motions. Can Seekers be in Torvus? Yes, they can. Because we don't need Seekers to enter Torvus at all. And they're not here either. That's just an E-Tank. Okay, so they're not on the transit tunnels. Okay, now we're really running out of places to check. And they're not here in Catacombs. And they're not down here on Alpha Blog. And they're not on Powerbomb Guardian. They're not on Grapple Guardian. They're not on Under Transit 1. Have we checked Under Transit 1 yet? Yeah, I think we have. Okay, so they're not in Upper Torvus, they're not in Dark Torvus, they're not in Sanctuary, and they're not in Inghive. They're not in Aegon, they're not in Dark Aegon. At this point, the only place we haven't checked is Vanilla. That is like one of the last locations we have yet to see. And at this point, I think it's the only plausible location that say, yes, your seekers are here. I've been taunting you the entire time. We have checked every single location in this game. At least that is not accessible by seekers. The only exception are the ink caches off of Spider Guardian and Battleground. We have 3 possible locations. Nope, it can't be Spider Guardian because it can't be in Sanctuary. We have 2. They're either A, on the Battlegrounds ink cache, or B, they've been hiding in Hall of Honor dead this entire time, just taunting us. What was Plaza? Torvus Plaza was a useless item. Yep, but Elias is going for Sanctuary Map Station. Well, I guess we get to see what Map Station has after all this time. While Marker's Mask is going towards Plaza, as they've yet to check that. Sank Map Station only has a missile expansion, so it's not worth our time. Marker's Mask is continuing towards Torvus Plaza. Far Torvus is a section he's yet to check, so it makes sense to do it. Although we know from Elias doing it earlier that this entire region is going to be useless. And what gets me is how Seekers only lock one thing. Once we get them, we are going to use them for that one thing, and then never use Seekers again. They lock one door because Markers went out of bounds for the rest. And I can't believe one item is making such a hassle and a headache. And Marker's Mask is going to ignore the Dark Commandos here in Torvus Plaza. We are only going to stay here long enough to check what the item is. Meanwhile, Elias is continuing through Sanctuary. We've just entered Dynamo Works from Cat East. And we're going to see that a missile-related upgrade is here on the in-cache. Although we have knowledge that because main power bombs were here, Seekers are our logical access into Sanctuary, so Seekers cannot be anywhere within Sanctuary. And Marker's Mask going through their map, realizing, wait a minute, I've just checked every possible location. Transit Tunnel West does not have anything. Hydro Chamber Storage, we've already looked at. Torvus Bog has nothing. We've gone through Aegon. Aegon does not have it. Although I don't believe we've checked that in cache yet, so we could go take an Aegon elevator to do that right now. Thankfully, the Aegon elevator is not terribly far. It's just off of Torvus Temple. Nope, it looks like Marker's Mask is deciding against going to Aegon, and instead is returning to Temple Grounds. This makes good sense because you can use Temple Grounds to route into Aegon entrance, and along the path you do have the ability to check Hall of Honor dead. Meanwhile, for Elias, they're continuing through Watch Station at the current time. Still checking various items, looking for the next progression. They're missing one Torvus key, and that Torvus key we know is not here on Watch Station. That is located off of either... Nope, they did Dungeon. They need to go do Dark Oasis for that key. And as we enter the temple grounds for one last time, we have one location in all the land to check. Will this location have the answer we're looking for? Or will the Battlegrounds in cache be the one we've hot-dogged for so long? As we go up the half-pipe and down the tunnel, we slowly come to the realization that if this is here all this time, the time loss, sadly, is nowhere near. And as we enter Hall of the Honor Dead, we look here inside the glass storage chamber and see that, in fact, Seeker missiles are indeed vanilla. They've been hiding here the entire time. And for the last 2.5 hours, we never went to check Hall of Honor dead. The hunt for Seekers is now over. And I would like to remind chat that we are not going to curse Reed's name. We still have a race to finish. But this just goes to show, as Linkshot mentioned in chat, please respect your elders and show honor to those who have fallen. For by paying your respects, you come to realize that they hold your progression for the remainder of this check. And so one thing remains for Marker's Mask. We have to go all the way back to Ing Reliquary, open that Seeker door, get the last key to the Sky Temple, and finally beat the final boss. What an interesting time this has been. Well, in the time it took Marker's Mask to find their Seeker launcher, it looks like Elias has decided to fight Quadraxis. Well, this boss does need to be defeated. It does have one of the Sky Temple keys that we need. But they are fighting Quadraxis without the use of Echo Visor. Now, this is going to be a little bit troublesome. Although not impossible, it is a bit tricky, as you can't lock onto any of the weak points for Phase 2 and Phase 3. We have to do a manual aim. And we are now back at the door that gave Marker's Mask roughly 50 missiles worth of trouble. And with just 5 missiles and a Seeker launcher, this door is opened without any hassle. And what do you get for all that backtracking throughout the entire game? You get the final key that you've been missing all this time. There's your last Sky Temple key. It is now time to beat your game and defeat the final bosses who've been hiding for 2.5 hours. But that's okay, you know, we've made good time. And Elias is showing that, again, because we have no echo, we have to do a manual lock or a manual aim. The Quadraxis weak points for Phase 2. It's a little bit difficult than it seems, but it's not impossible. It's just that we've got to hope for our aim to be on point. And at this time, Marker's Mask has just entered the Sky Temple Gateway. Or correction, the Sky Temple grounds, en route to the gateway. We have a few more rooms to go before we enter Sky Temple and fight Emperor Ring and Dark Samus. This race has been an interesting one, wouldn't you say? From an early game that was packed with screw attack and both beams relatively early, to bombs being just off of Storage Cavern B, Amorbus hiding a missile, and Dark Oasis having a key, Chica being required with a gravity boost off of a light suit check. This seed really put both runners to the test today, and we saw the good, the bad, and the absolute read. But now with 9 keys returned to the gateway, we shall go fight the final bosses, while Elias just about wraps up Quadraxis. He's on to the last phase of the fight. Only 2 more hits, and Quadraxis will be defeated for good. Although, Elias, you gotta be careful with your spider ball. Oh, you're so close. So when it comes to the Emperor Ring fight, not too much to explain. There are some quick kill methods we can use for each of the 3 phases, though. Emperor number 1 will be using Light Beam to destroy the extended tendrils, and then either A, spam Fire Annihilator, or B, fire 4 super missiles into the core. We're going to hope to get a 1 cycle here. Yeah, it looks like we're going with the super missile method. We need 4 super missiles for a 1 cycle. First super missile hits, great job. Can we get the second one? Okay, second super missile has been hit. And the third missile falls shortly thereafter. And a beautiful 1 cycle by Marker's Mask. Now we are on to phase 2. Thankfully, because we still have Cannonball, we take no poison damage and no damage from the mini tendrils who come out of these little mini culverts. In order to beat phase 2, we need to roll around, use power bombs and/or bombs to blow open 11 of these little golden culverts. Once all 11 are destroyed, we can move on to the final phase. And as you can see, because we still have Cannonball, we are taking no enemy damage, no chance of knockback, so we can just roll around with ease. Emperor Ring number 3. You may think we need to use our beams to destroy the Emperor Ring, but you would be mistaken. Now, while technically that is the proper method, Emperor Ring 3 has an interesting thing about it, where during development there was meant to be an additional damage step where you destroy some armor. Now that armor was weakened by Screw Attack, but for some reason they removed that damage step and left the Screw Attack hitbox in. Because the damage hitbox is still active, if we use Screw Attack against said hitbox, we deal massive damage to Emperor Ring. And so without firing a single shot, Emperor Ring 3 has been defeated, and we move on to the true final fight of this game, Dark Samus 3 and 4. Now with Dark Samus 3 and 4, there is one thing we hope to avoid. We do not want to get centered. So as we start the fight, we are going to do a very specific damage amount to Dark Samus. This way it forces her to start going into her second damage, into her second phase. She'll rise up into the air, then come crashing back down, attempting to enter the center of the room. During this phase, we are going to use a Screw Attack for some extra damage, and attempt a stun lock. Let's see if we pull it off. Screw Attack is out. Good damage dealt. Now we're trying to find Dark Samus. Okay, we have a lock. Screw Attack again for extra damage. We still have a lock. Okay, we're going for the final phase. Using missiles to force the phase-on shield up. Firing Dark Beam for damage. And for the love of everything, this race is over.
Hey, what did I miss?
Oh, well, hello, Reed. It's so kind of you to join us today.
You know, it only seemed right that I take some of the heat out of this.
Now, Reed, before we continue, you have 54 viewers watching here at home who stayed for the entirety of today's race. What would you like to say to all of your viewers at home?
Well, I told you guys yesterday I was shaking the rust off. We didn't know just how right that was. Ooh. Oh, today was rough. Boy, today was rough on our runners.
Yeah, that's an understatement. So Marker's Nest has confirmed time of 2 hours, 36 minutes. And where is it? 2:36:47. Elias has taken a forfeit on today's race. They were close, though. 5 STKs. But I
can't say I fault them.
No,
I can't say I fault them at all.
No, but with that, we welcome both Elias and Marker's Mask into the booth today.
GG's.
Was it G? Was it?
Is Reed here?
No, Waller's here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Reed has decided to join us. What would you two like to say by playing today's race? What would you like to say to Reed?
And remember, we are on Speed Gaming.
We are family friendly.
Yeah. Censored word. Go censored word. Oh my gosh, that seed. I was like, all right, like could be go mode. Just need echo visor. I mean, I don't really want to do the 2 out of bounds. And then I was like, it's not on Chica. There's no way. There's no way.
Well,
Yeah, about that.
Catacombs had different opinions.
And then when I passed by Hall of the Honored Dead the first time, I kid you not, I was like, man, the one-off chance that this is Vanilla Seekers, no way. It's going to either be Clovis or Stank.
It was
Vanilla.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Yeah, it was vanilla, Elias.
It's the one thing I was looking for, and I was just bumbling around looking for it while collecting random SDKs. It just fought Quadraxis without Echo Visor. That was fun.
Yeah, those are the 2 most horrible placement chains for a seed I think I've seen yet.
So did you know where Echo was, Elias? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I knew it was tricky.
Okay.
That's why I started looping in the Torvis keys, but one of them was blocked, I think, by Seekers. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, it was.
yeah, that's what I figured, because I think it was the last check in light Aegon that I just couldn't beat, but I figured it was there, so I just did what I could and sank and hoped Seekers were there. Little did I know I was getting duped.
Oh, that was a hard last location for those Seekers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And I
rough.
thought about it when I was there, because I was just like, I've done the little screw attack into the hole before. I could just check it, but it's kind of out of the way. Chances are it's not there. I got plenty of checks, whatever.
Yeah.
It happens.
It does.
I was trying to do the Ing Reliquary Seeker list too, and I've only done it like a very long time ago and only once, and I was like, okay, maybe I could try it in a race again. That Seeker list is no fun.
It's
I think
brutal.
was it like 20 minutes I spent on that? Because I was like,
About
there's
20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was a while.
And then I spent a whole lot of time doing the mining station one too, because the Chica key was there behind that Seeker too. Ugh. So that seed, I just
What a time.
I want to choke the seed.
It was
It's okay. It's over. It can't hurt you anymore.
Yeah. I
Nope.
guess.
It won't hurt you until the next seed I roll, and then we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on that, we're going to start a petition to have Reed stay away from future tournaments.
Yeah,
It might
well-
have been. I took 2 weeks off.
Okay.
I think you
So
should take another 7.
yeah, when you were on vacation, Lino said, "Well, when he comes back, it'll be full force." I legit said, "How much to extend Reed's vacation?" Say 5 weeks.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Oh, gosh, this seed.
Oh, let's go over some highlights, shall we? Let's see.
Highlights.
Yeah.
What do we have? Well, at least early game, it was promising. You had your screw attack on Albert, bombs in storage cavern B, dark beam vent area A, and your light beam underneath the save station in Great Temple.
It was one of those things where it was just front loaded enough to where it's like, I don't trust this.
Yep, same here.
That's a good instinct.
I went ultra conservative too, and then the time that I didn't was literally at that decision point of Hall of the Honored Dead, because I was like, I could be go mode. We'll get some hints. This will be nice. No, not nice at all. And I was just sitting there with how front loaded it was. I was like, wow, like this could really be Jet. I was like, literally item after item after item, and I was like, well, this is pretty exciting. I don't think I've ever experienced this before. And then got absolutely knifed. That was.
Oh, by the way, while I was fighting Quadraxis, an earthquake happened here. That was fun.
Oh wow.
Is that in California?
Yeah, Los
Oh.
Angeles.
Okay, I can't be blamed for that.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past you.
Is everybody all right? At least I haven't seen the.
Oh
news
no,
yet.
it's fine.
Okay.
If my game had shut off, my power gone out, it might have been a cause for concern, but no.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried. I mean, you had boost ball fairly early on sand cache, so that was a bit of a trick there.
Yeah, and I kind of orphaned it early on too. I was kind of I overstayed my welcome in Aegon because anytime I was like, all right, I need to leave and go, and then I'd find more progression. I'm like, well, all right.
Yeah. Or just never leave early Aegon, I guess.
No, I mean, you had your emerald on sand processing of all things, super missiles
Yeah,
and
and
trial tunnel.
that's what kept me there because I knew Emerald was somewhere in Aegon, and I never found it until I found that boost ball. I'm like, all right, I gotta go all the way back, and I was just like going back and forth a lot. Then I left with all my translators, just.
Oh yeah, because Cobalt was there too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just randomly hanging out. I'm like, all right. I was late getting light suit.
Yeah, you sort of left Dynamo Chamber behind for a while. Although, to be fair, main power bombs were so god-awfully late.
Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't even. I think I got it hinted or something, and I was just like, I'm not worrying about this.
Oh,
No,
was
but-
it? Was PB's hinted?
I think it was like hinted to be like 4 rooms away from some other item that I hadn't gotten
From an
yet.
Inghive key.
Like, yeah, from an Inghive key, and I was like, I don't care.
And then all of the Inghive key, then the Inghive key hit was everything was insane. It's like, well, Seekers can't be in sync.
And I had
Yeah, I
like 2 other
should've-
ways to Quadraxis, so I was like, I don't care about this.
Yeah, I should have
It
put
was my
two and
first
two
time
together.
entering the fight from the side, though. That was fun.
Oh, through the Annihilator door?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just routed that way.
All right, let's take a look here. Your STK locations. Those were interesting.
I found 5 and never got hints for the other 4.
Would
Well,
you
I'm
like to
pretty
take a wild guess?
All the locations I haven't checked yet.
Well, great thought.
Yeah. So a cursed lake was not.
No.
Reliquary, however, was.
Just tell me, was it airy?
No,
Was
thank
there-
God.
Not airy.
Thankfully, no. Yeah,
I
Aegon
kept like
Temple,
walking past it, and I was like, "This seed would."
It's a reed seed. It makes sense. Yeah, Dagon Temple for Bomb Guardian was fine. Transit Tunnel East, you needed your gravity boost for. Sentinel's Path and Profane Path, both with your Echo and Annihilator. Hive Entrance, have fun doing a backtrack. Sand Canyon was free. Hive Temple was free. Reliquary was a pain in the Seeker launcher. Aerial Trading Site was, well, ATS wasn't terrible. And then your Chicka keys, Dark Dungeon, Dark Oasis, and Storage. Yay.
Was Echo required for any of those?
Yes.
Profane
Oh.
Profane
Path
Path
and
and
Sentinel's
Sentinel's Path.
Oh, fun!
Path.
I was
think
running
was
it
hard required.
like it was, so
Yeah.
didn't get there in time.
You had to do Power Bomb Guardian, then get your light suit just so you get Chicka keys to do the actual fight. But technically, you still needed Seeker Launcher just to get one of the Chicka keys itself.
Yep.
I think whenever in the race time, Margaret Mask was just like yelling at Reed. I had already known that Quadraxis was required, and I was like, yeah, that's probably what that's about. And then I got another hint that Chicka had Equalizer. I'm like, this is terrible. I hate it here. And then I was just like, yes, I agree.
So I guess we have to ask the question. Reed, when are you going back on vacation? And why is it tomorrow?
Am I doing that tomorrow? Is that what we're doing?
Well, based on the results of today, I'm not going to continue that further. But no, you've managed to make something absolutely fun, in quotations.
That's a nice way to say that. Yeah.
We could say something worse, but SpeedGaming would probably fine us until we're banned off the platform.
Yeah.
Although we do have some questions posted in chat if you got some time.
Let's
Oh
hear
no,
'em.
that's not a question. That's a status by KRR. You've made a new status of cursed games, Reed.
I can live with that.
New status just dropped.
Yeah, today's was there wasn't a fitting word for today's seed. It was that
No.
miserable.
And I'm like, okay, where's the relief here? And there wasn't, because like even the
No,
Chickakees
no.
were Dark Oasis. Like, I mean, it was literally spread out all across to everywhere. Dungeon of all places too. And MSB. So it's just like,
I think our last location that
unless the
Dark Store
power
was good.
bomb, yeah, unless the power bombs. Like as soon as I found power bombs, I don't even know if I got the hint. To be honest, if I did, I don't remember. Or I just
You
disregarded
did
it.
right before you got power bombs.
Power bombs, yeah. So it was Watch Station was the hint.
Yes.
That's so nasty because you would never know the logical access into sync. So
Yep.
yeah, I have nothing positive to say about this seed.
This was nice. There, I thought of something.
But as far as questions concerns go, we do have one post. But Reed, I'm going to direct that your way.
Yeah.
Since this is the last seed of the week, we should have a new bracket stage coming shortly, correct?
Yes, we will have the new brackets updated here in just a few minutes. As soon as I get logged into Challenge, actually, because I can do that.
Well, you can do
For some
that,
reason,
but you can't give
I
our
can
runners
too.
relief.
No, that's unfortunately too far. So let's go ahead and update this one.
Okay, while Reed does that, Marker's Mask, Elias, is there any questions, concerns, anything on your mind while we're still here?
So many concerns, but nothing to say. No.
So, Marker, you will be facing off against Raylan in round 3 winners bracket. And Elias, you will be facing off against Stash in round 1 of the bottom brackets.
Stashifer.
The one and only.
I'm looking forward to either winning or losing against them.
That's a great way to go about it. That's
I mean, unless you both somehow manage to forfeit due to Reed generating something even worse than today.
I don't think we've ever had a double forfeit in the history of all the tournaments I've helped with.
Well, based on what
There's
you've
always-
caused.
Always the first time.
I don't even know how we deal with that.
I was pretty tilted during the secret list. I was really close to being like, nah, done.
I'm out.
Well, to be fair, you were close to getting that door open. It was just, you had all 5 nodes destroyed. It's just that it wasn't fast enough from what it looked like.
Yeah, my
Gotta go
fingies
fast.
can't keep up.
Well, at least on the bright side, it's over. Did you both have at least somewhat of a good time?
I always learn something in these races.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, okay, we can accept that. And I guess with that, we might as well start wrapping up our program here today. Read any information for next week's brackets?
So, like I said, we're going to be in round 3 of upper brackets, which is going to be our quarterfinals for uppers. So, Storm and Arrow, Markers and Raylan, Darkstar and Astral, and TGC versus Java. And then the final matches that we have are going to be, because we have 2 matches already completed in the lower bracket of Jeff beating Wordsayer and moving into round 2, and Leaf unfortunately Faizy did have to drop, so Leaf is going to go ahead and move into round 2 as well. And then we've got Steve versus Rico, Nis versus McCollier, Sass versus Avina, Dace and Soaring Wyvern, Elias and Stash, and Kemir versus Rincon.
Well, alrighty then. So we'll get those scheduled. Once we have the information for the schedule, be sure to have it released to the public. But for now, we gotta get everything scheduled first. So that's going to be the fun time. So I guess until that, we might as well wrap up our program here tonight. So
Yeah, I got nothing. The seed has spoken for itself, I believe.
The seed has spoken.
And if you see a petition come your way shortly, Reed, you did it to yourself.
Yeah, no, that seems reasonable.
No, but in all fairness, it was a good time. It had a good challenge to it. Made you really sit back and think about the Randomania's logic chain. And we did see some good tricks pulled off by both runners today.
Absolutely.
So I guess with that, I guess the main question to ask, with it being a mentor and mentee tournament style, how's your mentors prepared you for today's bracket stage?
The best they could. I did learn a lot while I was racing with mentors, so I'm in better shape now than I was when this started to do a bracket. I got one win in the bracket. That's a win for me. So even if I lose the next one, I'll still call it a success.
Well, you learned something. That's always the best part about it.
Absolutely. That is the most important thing, is to learn, make some new friends, and just get better.
I have strove to get good.
From what I understand, the trick is to go where the items are.
That's my strat.
It's a good strat. I think Baja came up with that one. But
wonderful advice. Alrighty, so I guess with that being said, Reed, you want to close this out while you're so kind to join us today?
I suppose I can. So, everyone, please, please, please go and follow our runners. They did a phenomenal job of parsing through this dumpster fire that I created. Make sure you go follow Marion, because I just jumped in here for the abuse at the end, but Marion is the one that really, really did all the work today. So make sure you give them a follow. Keep an eye on the schedule, as new races are going to be going live over the next week. And Marion, absolutely phenomenal job. Marcus Mask, Elias, GG's, absolutely fantastic running. Again, that was a brutal seed.
GG's.
But with that, remember, everybody, we will be back with more races, and we will see you all next mission. Take it easy.
All right. Take care. Have a great rest of the day.